I gotta check this out. Look at this. Yeah, Hebrews all math. It's all numbers. Okay, this is what he said. All right.
It's all math. It's all numbers. You know that? Yeah, look. The ancient Jews used Hebrew as their numerical system. Eh? Each letter's a number. Like the Hebrew A, Aleph, it's 1. B, Bet, it's 2. You understand? But look at this. The numbers are interrelated. Like take the Hebrew word for father. Av, Aleph, Bet. 1, 2 equals 3. All right? Hebrew word for mother, Aim, Aleph, Mem. 1, 40 equals 41. Sum of 3 and 41, 44. All right? Now,
Watch this, y'all.
Hebrew word for child. All right? Mother, father, child. Yelad. It's 10, 30, and 4. 44. Torah is just a long string of numbers. Some say that it's a code sent to us from God.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's just kid stuff. Check this out, okay? The word for the Garden of Eden, Kedem. Numerical translation, 144. Now the value of tree of knowledge, all right, in the garden, right? Eitz HaChaim, 233. 144, 233. And you can take those numbers. So
Like the Fibonacci sequence.
Fibonacci.
Fibonacci is an Italian mathematician in the 13th century. If you divide 144 into 233, the result approaches theta.
Theta?
Theta. Greek symbol for golden ratio, golden spiral.
The spiral.
Wow. I never saw that before. That's like that series you find in nature? Like the face of a sunflower?
Oh, look, the spiral, right? Watch this. All right, Kongo spiral, Zingu. Okay, Kongo Cosmogram, the king of Dia Congo or Yowa, is a sacred symbol of life, death, rebirth, depicting the sun's journey, dawn, noon, sunset, midnight, across the physical world, Ku and Siki, and the ancestral realm, Ku and Mpemba. A spiral, Zingu, symbolizes the eternal cyclical nature of life. Okay, Kimoya, and the souls return to the divine, also representing the spiraling wind, Hunga, of creation and the spiritual connection to the divine, Nzambi. Okay, so connect back to Tata Nzambi, who is Yah. All right, so this is the cosmogram. I'll give you a picture of it. Okay, that's the cosmogram. This is Ku and Mpemba. Okay, this is also in the Tanakh. They call it Sheol. Okay, the spiritual world. Then you go to Job. It say it's about the dead below the waters. Okay, this a Kalunga line is a water. It's the waters. All right, you see this in the Mayan cosmogram too, or whoever that was. It was a indigenous Negro American cosmogram, and it had the waters, and you had the spiritual world would be below the waters. Now Tata Nzambi connected to these waters. All right, connected to the waters, and then it connects. So it's a spiral. You see, it's a spiral, and it goes back to him. Okay. So let's go back over here. See the spiral. Zingu represents the ongoing, evolving process of life and the soul's journey. It signifies that life is a spiral, not a straight line connecting the physical world and the afterlife. Right, afterlife. The Kalunga line, the horizontal line of the cross that separates the world of the living from the world of the dead / ancestors. Okay. Now I'm gonna show you, and it's a knock, and I'm gonna do appreciation on it. We're gonna go deep into what the familiar spirit is. I'm gonna show you what that is. Right? Is the ancestors are alive? I'm gonna say that to you now, but you ain't supposed to be contacting the ancestors. Try to get in contact with them. All right. So they don't. Life continues on when you die. You go on. You live on into the spiritual world. All right, and Mpemba, Sheol. All right, we'll get deep into it in the video. All right, so divine connection. The spiral represents the verb imahungu or mahungu, the divine presence within humanity and the spiraling action of the wind that connects the divine to the earthly. All right. So it kind of reminds me, tornadoes will be, it might got a connection too. Tornadoes and hurricanes remind you of the spiral. All right. I don't know if they got a connection, but I can see it. All right. Spiritual and symbolic meaning. Reincarnation. Okay. Now, this thing, reincarnation is actually not, it's not really reincarnation, right? That's the other Bantu that believe that. But we go to the Nzambi Center Bantu, they just believe the life continues on in the ancestral realm. But reincarnation, Tanakh does not teach reincarnation. All right. We'll move on for that. Cycle Zingu of death and rebirth. When one Zingu spiral ends, the soul begins another in the ancestral realm. Okay, like that. Okay, now that's the type of, so when you go to the ancestral realm, you go to the spiritual world, Mpemba, Sheol, your life, you start a new life there. Okay, the spiritual world. All right, that's what happens. All right. So I asked, what do Nzambi-centered Bantu / Nganga believe about the spiral? The Bukongo religion, okay, the spiritual system of the Bakongo people, the spiral is the most fundamental sign, summarizing their entire theological doctrine. For Ngangas, spiritual priests and practitioners center on Nzambi and Pungu, the supreme creator. The spiral represents several critical spiritual concepts. The immortality and evolution of life, Zingu. Okay? Life as a spiral, the Congo word for life, Zingu, literally translates to a spire or to roll. Continuous journey. Participants believe that when a physical life ends, one Zingu cycle finishes. The soul, Kimoya, which is eternal, begins a new Zingu in the ancestral realm, in Mpemba. Okay? Spiral evolution. Kinetic cycles from a spiral that can be ascensive, all right, or higher spiritual consciousness, or descensive. All right? The divine completeness, Kimahungu. The spiral represents the verb or Kimahungu, which is the manifest expression of the divine. Unity of opposites. It symbolizes the assembly of male and female elements to reach the state of divine fullness. And we'll get into that because my next video, I'm gonna do a CT Israelite explain. Okay, I'm gonna do one of them videos right there. So I do the other part 3, what was it, part 3C? I can't remember what part it was. Part 3C, I think. I do that. I gotta do a couple videos. All right, but all that's coming. So we'll talk about how God he's male, but he has the powers of male and feminine elements. Okay. All right, we'll get to that in that video. So I'm gonna tell you right now, Tata Nzambi is male. All right. This is rooted in the myth of Mahungu, the original complete being who was later split into 2 separate mortal beings. All right, just right. Remind you the story of Adam. Okay, took Tata Nzambi took the when in the Tanakh, it say Tata Nzambi took the rib from Adam and created Eve. All right, so all right, but it's 2 separate mortal beings. Spiraling energy. The term Kimahungu relates to the verb hunga, referring to the spiraling action of the wind. It represents God's presence in and around humanity. All right. In and around humanity. Okay, that's crazy. Initiation and rebirth. All right. A sense of path. Initiatory academies like Kempasi, Limba, and Kikemba, the initiate's journey is viewed as a sense of spiral. Symbolic death. The initiate dies to their old personality and is reborn. In Butu Lukulu, all right, into a higher consciousness. This movement is often physically ritualized by turning or spiraling around a central point. This is a master or sacred tree. All right, divine origins and destiny. Celestial return. The spiral teaches that human beings have a celestial origin and are destined to return to the divine after completing their life, the cycles of life. Simplification. The Kongo Cosmogram and Zingu is considered the ultimate geometric simplification of this complex spiral semiotic. Okay. Now I asked you this: does the Zingu, which does, connect to Tata Nzambi in some way? In the Bukongo spiritual system, the Zingu spiral is the primary theological link to Tata Nzambi, the creator. It is not merely a geometric shape, but a living representation of how divine interacts with the universe. The divine V, and origin. The spiral represents the celestial origin and destiny of humanity. It traces the path from the heavens, the domain of Nzambi and Pungu, down into the physical world and back again. A specific aspect of this is called the V. It represents the being of creation that expands from a single point, the divine, into the multidimensional complexity of life. All right. So the spiral has a connection to Tata Nzambi, who you call Yah in the Tanakh. Okay. The spiral as the verb kimahungu. Okay, let's read this again. According to the Bantu Congo teachings, the spiral symbolizes the verb kimahungu, which is the manifest expression of Nzambi's completeness, the act of creation. And Ganga described the creation using the metaphor of Nzambi stirring a pot of luku, fufu. All right, the spatula's spiraling motion as it moves upward and down is the cosmic force that brings life into being. The spiraling wind, hunga, the word for the verb kimahunga, is derived from the hunga, meaning the spiraling action of the wind. This wind is considered the breath or presence of Nzambi that surrounds and animates all things. Fulfillment and universal salvation. Spirals are meant for the soul to achieve divine fullness, ascension. As a person moves through their Zingu cycles of life, they are expected to follow an incessant spiral toward higher spiritual consciousness. Reunion. This path eventually leads back to Nzambi, representing the ultimate goal of the universal salvation and the restoration of the lost unity with the divine. Immortality of life. While the Kongo Cosmogram is simplified cross, it is fundamentally a flattened spiral. It teaches that because Nzambi is eternal, the kimoya, eternal consciousness within each person is also eternal. Death is simply the end of one Zingu and the beginning of another in the ancestral realm, in Mpemba, ensuring a permanent connection to the Creator. All right? So, spiral, okay? Now, I saw a Bukongo book, and it showed the spiral, how they depict the spiral, and it looked like how that video I showed you from Instagram. So they showed the little lines on the spiral. They showed the same thing in the Bukongo book. I can't find it, but it was in there. All right. Okay. Do we need anything from here? Continue the circular motion of the sun and the human life. All right. Musani conception. We're going to get deep into this Kongo Cosmogram because I'm going to show you. It's in the Tanakh. Okay. It's in the Tanakh. Your life continues on when you die. Your ancestors, they are alive. Okay, they are conscious in Sheol. Okay, the Tanakh call it Sheol, but in Congo culture they call it Mpemba, spiritual world, the world of the dead, the spiritual world. All right, we are in Siki, the world of living. Okay, that's what we in, the Siki. All right, y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments down below. We'll get into it in another video. Not next, another video though. Peace.